Yes, I'd like to have been a judge. But I never had the Latin. I never had sufficient Latin to get through the rigorous judging exams. They're very rigorous, the judging exams. They're noted for their rigour. People come staggering out saying, oh my God, what a rigorous exam. So I become a miner instead, a coal miner. They're not so rigorous, the mining exams. They only ask you one question. They say, who are you? And I got 75% on that. So I was allowed to join the mining community. The only trouble with the mining community is that conversation tends to be a bit on the boring side. If you want to hear a boring conversation, just pop down my mine. Stuff like, hello, I've just found a lump of coal. Have you really? Oh yes, no doubt about it. This black substance is coal, all right. Jolly good, the very thing we're looking for. I've tried to inject a little intellectual substance to conversation down the mine. I said to a fellow miner the other day, I said, have you heard of Marcel Proust? He said, no, he must work down another mine. So I explained to him that Marcel Proust was a very famous writer who used to dip biscuits in his cup of tea and suck on the biscuits, and all his memories come flooding back, and he wrote them down into wonderful novels. But I've done a bit of writing myself. I've written a book called My Experiences Down the Mine. It's very largely based on my experiences down the mine. It's a story of this man who comes down the mine one day and he sees a lump of coal. And he grabs hold of it and throws it on a trolley, which disappears down a long dark tunnel, and he never sees it again. It's a very short story, but it is extremely boring. I took it along to a publisher and he confirmed my opinion. He said it was without doubt the most boring story he'd ever read in all his life. And he's not a man who's given to superlatives. He said, the trouble with your story is that it lacks everything. You name it, it lacks it. And above all, it lacks the elements of sex and violence, so vital in these troubled times. So I've rewritten it a bit. I've given it a new title. I've called it Sex and Violence Down the Mine. And chapter 1 begins with these three nude ladies, Beryl, Stella and Margaret. And they are completely nude, and they're wandering around the desert violently. Nude and violent, they wander around the desert. Every day they get more violent. Every day they get more nude. till eventually the leader of the nude violent ladies, Beryl Whittington, sees a disused mine shaft. "Come on, girls," she shouts, a wicked glint in her eye. "Let's all rush down that mine shaft and do disgusting things to each other." So, as one man, the three nude, violent ladies rush down the mine shaft and start doing disgusting things to each other. They start hurling lumps of coal at each other, nudely and violently. They hurl the lumps of coal till they're all black and blue from bruises and covered in coal dust, and they sink exhausted in a coma to the floor. Now comes the wry twist. A miner, whose character is very loosely based upon myself, happens upon the three nude, violent, comatose ladies. But as they're all black and blue from bruises and covered in coal dust, he mistakes them for lumps of coal. And he grabs hold of them and throws them on a trolley, which disappears down a long dark tunnel, and he never sees them again. Did you notice, for no apparent reason, I suddenly went, "What?" It's an impediment I got from being down the mine. Because one day I was wandering along in the dark, I stumbled across the body of a dead pit pony. "What?" So I went in surprise. Never since then I've been going, "What?" unexpectedly. And that's another reason why I couldn't be a judge. It would destroy the dignity of the court, you see. I mean, I might have been up there one day, sentencing away, all majestic and dignified in my robes, saying to some criminal, "You have been found to be a heinous criminal, and it is my solemn duty to sentence you to..." And the trouble is, you see, under English law, that would have to stand. But the trouble with being a miner is as soon as you're too old and tired and ill and sick and stupid to do your job properly, you have to go. Well, the very opposite applies with the judges. So on the whole, I'd rather have been a judge than a miner.